beautiful saints, today is Wednesday, the 6th of May, and on this day we have the option to celebrate St. John. St. John, who is also known as the beloved disciple. And from tradition and scripture, we know very little about the personal life of St. John. But what we read this morning is his gospel, his theology, his understanding of God. And so I want to open with the opening verses from his first letter. That which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked upon, and our hands have handled, of the word of life declare we unto you, that you also may have fellowship with us. And these things we write to you, that your joy may be full. And from this we see that the beloved disciple who spent years, 3 years, with Jesus, who looked on Jesus, who watched his ministry, listened to his teaching, who was with him at the foot of the cross. This same John comes away from that experience of God saying, God is love. And this is a very deep statement, God is love. And this morning, John encourages us to enter into this relationship of love with God, this fellowship that Jesus has given us access to through his life, death, resurrection, and ascension. But what does it mean that God is love? Well, what we know from the Greek is that there are 3 different words for love. The first, I think many of us know well, is love is eros. It is romantic love. It's that feeling we have when we are young and fall in love and our hearts race and all those beautiful things. We also have phileo, which is love of the brethren. That's love of those to whom you are bound to. And in the Christian tradition, we have philia, that love which binds us together as believers. And then we have agape love, and that is love that is what John is speaking about this morning. Agape love is not a feeling. Agape love is not predicated on what we do or who we are or how we behave. Agape love is love in principle. It is love by a choice and an act of will. And Jesus, through his life, death, resurrection, and ascension, invites us into this fellowship of love with God. And so that leaves us with 2 major questions this morning that I'd like to offer us to reflect on today. What does it mean to be loved by God? To have this agape love being shown towards us? And what does it mean to love God? What John invites us into this morning is that love is a lived relationship. Love is not an idea, love is not a theory, love is not an ideal. Love is found engaging in relationships, in a relationship with God and in a relationship with one another. And this loving relationship is called the praxis of love. And we only come to understand what it means to be loved by God as we open ourselves to that experience. Love is an experience. It is a lived relationship. And part of how we experience God's love is by learning to love other people. Now, I don't know about you, but this lockdown has been a real challenge, I think, to us as families, where we have been separated from people we love, and we have been locked down with others that we love. And love is not a simple feeling. There are days when we can feel frustrated with one another, but we are reminded yet again that love is an act of will. And so my invitation to all of us for today, as we celebrate the life of St. John and the message that he has given to us, that our joy may be complete, is to find new ways to enter into both being loved by God and allowing allowing ourselves to be loved by others and loving them in return. Amen.